But anyway, at this point in time, what we're doing is I'm getting ready to clean his stall. So you can see here, these shavings and these are just wood shavings. They're all wet here because of urine. And then over here, you know, we've just got a pile of poop. I can tell that he really was not in this stall much. He was outside a lot last night because there would be far more remnants, shall we say, of him going to the bathroom in here. But he does have a manger here. It's full of alfalfa. And then we've got another area for him to eat over here. Our hayloft is up top there. So what the barn manager has done is, or the owner has done, is created this system where we can just drop the hay down in these chutes. It's really ingenious. So there's a chute that is on a diagonal, and we just drop it down, and then he can eat the hay right through here. Hi, Berlin. Look at Berlin's nose. So Berlin's on the other side of the barn. This is the stud side of the barn. And we're going to go in here. I got my wheelbarrow ready. I got my manure rake ready. We're going to go in here and clean this stall. So I'm just going to put this camera down and hope that it'll stay. Let's see here. We'll do that. See if we can get it. Maybe I have to move it down here a little more. All right, so there you have it. All right, so the way we clean the stall, let me move the wheelbarrow. All right, I just moved the wheelbarrow a little bit closer. So basically this whole wet area here is what we want to get rid of. So we just simply scoop up the wet, leave the dry, and you can tell what's wet because it's completely discolored. And then we take the wet and we just dump it in the wheelbarrow. Okay, so there's a little bit wet over here, but the part that's not wet I don't want to get rid of because, you know, we can still use it. And I'm going to go ahead and just keep getting rid of that soiled area. Okay, so I do that first. Get rid of the really obvious soiled stuff in here. And if you keep up with this every day, it's not so bad. But if you let this go 3, 4, 5 days, this thing would be loaded with you know, horse poop and everything else. So all the wet spots, I'm not even bothering to sift. And I'll show you sifting in just a second here. But at this point in time, okay, so a perfect example of sifting is I just picked up this big pile of poop here. And there's still some clean shavings in here. So basically, I'm just going to shake my manure fork a little bit. Now this is a big load, so actually let me get rid of this first. Okay. This will make it a little bit easier to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So then I'm going to pull some of these semi-wet shavings over to this really wet area where I can actually see his urine. I'm going to use some of the semi-wet ones, okay? And I'm going to pull it right over top that urine. And I'm just going to leave it there for a minute to soak up that excess urine. Like so. And while I'm doing that, I'll go to some of these other areas that I just raked. And I'll pull some of the drier stuff back over. And I mean, everybody does this differently, but you know, this is just kind of what works for us here. All right. So while that is soaking up that excess urine, I mean, it only takes a minute. So now I can go back in here and I can go to that area that was really wet to the eye with those shavings that were a little bit damp. And I can just lift and see now all that wet puddle is gone. Because it's been completely soaked up. So it's no longer that wet puddle there that it was. So I'm just gonna go in through the rest of this. I'm gonna sift, keep the good, get rid of the bad. Same thing here when you have larger chunks. Well, actually that was pretty clean. You keep the good, you get rid of the bad. You dump it in the wheelbarrow. And just like that, it's quite easy to do. So then I will go to the, so see there's some manure right there. And I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna kind of bounce it a little bit, shift it. And then there's one pile of manure, but the rest of the shavings haven't been compromised. So I can just get rid of the manure, but I can keep the shavings. And that is good on the budget. It's good on the stalls. They still have, you know, nice fluffy shavings here. So everybody's good. And I always make sure that I keep an area here in front of his manger. I want to keep the shavings away from the front of his manger. He's got some alfalfa that he dropped here, so I'll just pull that into the rest of the stall, and I'll mix it in with his, he won't really eat that stuff that's on the ground. So I just like to, now that he will eat, like if it's clean, he will eat it. So what I'll do in that instance is I'll just kind of grab it, toss it back in his manger. But, you know, the rest of this, I'll just combine with the rest of his shavings. Give him a nice clean area here that he can stand here. His two front feet will go here. His head will go in there. And that way if he drops anything, like you see he drops, then he'll be okay and he's not going to be eating this sawdust. So I'm going to go to the shavings bin outside. I will get some more shavings. I will put them atop this and we will be good to go. And he will have fresh, clean sheets, as we say. So nice, clean saw, nice and dry for him, and he'll be good to go. So let's come over here. Hey, Blue. He's in his stall, this other stall right now, eating. So his head's in a bucket, so I can't really get him out. I don't want to disturb him, but he's in there eating. So, all right, talk to y'all later.